What's up, y'all? This is Wyatt from FFWC, coming at you again with another Lessons with Wyatt video. We are going to be talking about who was Matthew, who was Mark, who was Luke, and who was John, okay? Now, these people are all people in the Bible that have their own book, and they wrote about different perspectives of who Jesus was, okay? So, but we're not going to focus on the specific perspective they wrote. We're just going to be focusing on the author of who they are. Alright. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into this. Matthew. The book of Matthew was written by one of Jesus' disciples named Matthew, also known as Levi. Matthew left his business of collecting taxes for the Romans when Jesus called Matthew to follow him. And if you're curious on where you can find that at, you can go to Matthew chapter 9, verse 9. Alright, who was Mark? Okay, Mark, also known as John Mark, was the cousin of Barnabas. Blind Bartimaeus. The Apostle Paul's close friend. Mark was with Paul and Barnabas on their first trip to tell people about Jesus, and that can be found in Acts chapter 12, verse 25. He also spent a lot of time with Peter. It is believed that Mark wrote the book of Mark based on the preachings of Peter. Okay. Now we are going to be covering Luke. Who was Luke? Luke was a Gentile, a non-Jewish doctor, and a friend of the Apostle Paul. Luke was well educated. He's a very, very smart person. And John is the son of Zebedee. He was one of Jesus' disciples. John and his brother James were nicknamed the Sons of Thunder by Jesus. That can be found in Mark chapter 3, verse 17. John is also described as the disciple and Jesus loved. That's in John chapter 13, verse 23. John took care of Jesus' mother after Jesus' death. John also wrote the epistles of 1 John, 2 John, and 3 John, as well as the book of Revelations. Okay. Now, if you want to read each book, I'll also tell you, each one, like I said earlier, wrote a different perspective of who Jesus was. Matthew wrote the perspective of Jesus, the King and Messiah, while Mark showed him as the perfect servant. Luke talks about how he was the Son of Man, and John talked about how he was the Son of God. If you want to dive deep down into those stories, I recommend reading the Bible for yourself. It's also just a great way for you to get yourself in there. Alright, this is Wyatt from FFWC signing off. I hope to see you guys at church. Peace out.